This is Fred Ricciani of the Sports Courier. I have today, via Skype, he is an actor, comedian, table tennis pro, humanitarian. He is Adam Bobrow. How are you, sir?
Doing great. How you doing, Fred?
I'm doing good, man. Dude, you have more job titles than you have accolades. I mean, did I miss anything else?
There are probably a few other things in there, but I think that's just part of growing up in LA.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now, you just got back from a long trip to Asia. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I was sponsored to compete in the Hanoi Open in Hanoi, Vietnam in the north. And after 3 days of intense competition and a lot of entertainment style playing, which is more what I do, I guess, just because my level's sort of middle of the pack. But I like to please the crowd when I can and make it fun because I'm not a great table tennis player. And yeah, after that, I sort of toured Vietnam, entertaining, playing friendly matches with locals and, doing trick shots and just sort of having fun trying to speak Vietnamese and sort of like as a diplomacy / chance for me to explore and make some friends. And then I decided to extend my trip around Southeast Asia. So I went throughout Vietnam to, Hanoi, Hoi An, Da Nang, down to Ho Chi Minh City, and even in Ha Long Bay, and then flew to Laos in Luang Prabang for about a week, Malaysia, and did a week in Bali, Indonesia, and another week in Jakarta, Indonesia, and then came back to the U.S. to appreciate what I have here and sort of settle back into the routine life that my routine anyway.
So I guess we could add U.S. ambassador to your job titles, right?
Hopefully for the U.S.'s sake, no. But yeah, try to have some fun and represent and be an American overseas.
Now you're most famous for your viral videos, the excessive ping pong celebrations, which are just absolutely epic, especially the one that has Gangnam Style in the background. And I'm just wondering, what came into your life first? Was it table tennis, or was it the entertainment aspect of your life, including the excessive dancing?
Well, that's a good question. I think I've always enjoyed entertaining. I mean, probably around age 4 or 5, I realized that sometimes people laugh at me. And whether it's in an aggressive sort of like down-putting way or whether it's me making them laugh, it's usually an exciting feeling to be able to make somebody laugh. And sports have been a part of my life since I was 4 years old. So I think they both sort of grew and then started competing in table tennis, and pretty much in every sport I've played, whenever I have an opportunity to entertain a crowd, it's an exciting feeling, to be able to do that. So yeah, they sort of were both like racing each other and continue to grow and continue to learn how to do both and hopefully getting better and better at it.
Have you ever had to fear for your life? Maybe like you did an excessive celebration once and some dude was like, hey man, me and my crew are going to jump you afterwards, or has everybody been pretty cool with it?
Fortunately, within table tennis, the gang-related activity is lower than, say, I don't know, ice hockey, other sports. But yeah, I've only upset people on occasion, and it's usually not even by celebrating excessively. It's usually because of the style of my play. I like to lob the ball, which is considered the last resort in table tennis to get it back on the table. So I once had a guy say to me, I don't know what I can say on the show, so I'm going to keep it PG just in case. But he thought it was sort of a jerk move for me to play him the way I did. He thought I was just sort of rubbing it in his face that I didn't need to attack or play hard against him. And I said, I apologize. Please, this is just my game. Watch me play any other match today, and you'll see this is how I play. No disrespect intended at all. And then later, he watched my next match, and sure enough, came up to me and apologized, said, sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, from a celebration standpoint, it's actually sort of important to me to communicate with people, and I try to be kind when I can. And yeah, so if I sense that it's going to be a big misunderstanding, I usually wait for another opportunity when I'm playing someone who's a little more happy-go-lucky or knows a little bit about my style and who I am, and that I'm just sort of having fun.
Now, to the average American, they might say, "Oh, table tennis, I haven't really heard of that, or I'm kind of familiar with that, but not really." Yet it's huge internationally, and obviously it's got a big following in the U.S. When did you decide that you were able to actually do this for a living?
Well, it's an ongoing process. I think I've been competing for a long time and sort of paying my dues, and table tennis owes me nothing. Like, if I was making no money doing it for the past 5 years, I would still be playing tournaments as often as possible, and I would still be going to clubs as often as possible, getting my exercise and competing and enjoying the challenge and fun of it all. I think after doing the excessive ping pong celebration, people were like, hey, this guy's a bit of a nut. This guy is sort of a live wire. He might be fun to have at our tournament. You never know what you're going to get. So people started asking if I could come to their part of the country and, you know, flying me around and hiring me for different events. And then internationally, similar things started happening, which was a really cool opportunity for me to sort of learn and expand my perspectives and broaden my horizons. And then in Los Angeles, actually Spin, the table tennis night lounge, the guys who started that in New York said, dude, you got to work with us. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. So they've flown me around a bit and had me do different events. And now we have one in LA, Spin at the Standard Hotel in downtown. So I've been able to do a bunch of parties there, and they learned that I'm an MC professionally. So yeah, I MC a lot of events, run a lot of tournaments, do coaching and exhibitions, and then go to other offices. So it's still something that I'm learning new ways all the time, from TV shows and movies to live appearances and corporate events, how I can make a living. And yeah, as long as I can do what I enjoy and afford to have a roof over my head and eat food, I'm happy.
Well said. Now, do you feel like opponents underestimate you at all because of the fact that you do have the excessive dancing and you're known as a comedy guy sometimes?
I think, yeah. In some senses, we have a rating system in the U.S., so there's a number behind my name whenever I'm at a tournament that sort of represents how it's supposed to represent my level and how well I've played in tournaments. So people pretty much know exactly what to expect based on my rating. But there are a lot of people who see the lobs, the high balls, and they're like, it can't be that tough. I mean, they're lobs. You know, you're basically giving me the point. But then again, because of the rating, they see that whatever level I'm at, I've been able to do that with a lot of defense. So sometimes people come to me and they're just like, oh, I'm going to crush you. I'm going to hit through you. There's a good friend of mine now who's from Nicaragua who he's a strong man. I mean, if it were a street fight, there would be no question about who would win. And he's a better table tennis player than me for sure. But, you know, he said to me, he's like, Adam, you know, you can't lob to me because I got too much power, you know, man? And I was like, well, Rudy, you know, you got a lot of power. You're a great player. He's like, yeah, I'm going to hit through you. You know, you just can't lob to me. I'm going to crush the ball. It's not going to come back, you know? And it's like, well, you're probably right. But just know that I'm used to people hitting hard because I lob the ball a lot. So most people hit it as hard as they can. It's like, okay, I'm just saying, you know, it's not gonna work against me. Well, the first time we played, it was a very close match, but I ended up winning 11-9 in the fifth. So very close match. And since then he probably has a winning record now. I think he's about 6-4 with me, or 5-3. But yeah, he's one of those people who definitely thought I had no chance because of the way I played.
And what do you say is the biggest misconception of your sport?
The biggest misconception of table tennis is probably that it's not exercise. In the United States, a lot of people grew up playing the way I did. I mean, on the driveway with their parents, or in a basement, or, you know, in an office setting on a cruise ship, just in a social place with a drink in their hand or something like that. I'm not saying the kids are drinking. I mean, maybe adults doing that. But, yeah, I still have people coming up to me saying, I've seen pictures of you where you're sweating. Is that real? And it's like, I have to understand that their intention isn't to insult me, of course. They just aren't familiar with it as a sport because they've never seen it that way. So I'll let them know that, yeah, I mean, if I don't sweat during warm-ups, I haven't done my warm-ups properly. That, you know, my quads are significantly stronger and bigger than they were 5 years ago just because I've been, you know, playing about 4 days a week and usually playing hard. Yeah, so it's hugely international, but it's usually the places that have it in schools where people see it as a sport and they realize, oh, you're an athlete. Like when I was in, where was it, in Ha Long Bay in Vietnam, I met a lot of Korean tourists, and whenever I recognized someone was from Korea, I would say to them, "Chonun taku sonstuimnida," and they would be like, "Oh," and that basically translates to, I'm a table tennis player / professional. And I think it just means I'm a table tennis player, but it has that sort of implication. And grown women would like stop to take pictures with me. And pretty much anyone from Korea who heard that would be very excited. And Korea's not number one in the world. I mean, they're not China. There are several countries like this where people are very familiar with it as a sport, and their national heroes, are table tennis players.
Do you think
so? Yeah. Oh, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, misconceptions. Yeah, I think it sort of has to do with how it's viewed throughout the country. And here it's getting hipper and hipper. It's definitely showing up more in media and commercials, TV shows, and movies. A lot of celebrities are admitting that they do it, but it's still sort of like something that's a closet sport. And places like Spin are making it more sort of common to be out of the closet about your love for ping pong. And Los Angeles Table Tennis Federation, I mean, encourages people to say, "Hey, we're going to our league match today. We got a table tennis match today." And people be like, "Whoa, I didn't even know you could play that outside of your home." And they're like, "Yeah, there's a teams league, or you can play organized matches. It's a lot of fun. We've got our uniform on right now." So yeah.
And do you think that the U.S. could, and mainly North America too, could benefit from embracing table tennis more? Because it is such a huge sport internationally. I mean, I would imagine that if somebody comes along with money that knows how to present it the right way, that it could definitely blow up and bring a lot of extra revenue to cities.
Yeah, I absolutely feel that it's something that would be very beneficial for the U.S., North America, and countries around the world that don't already have an infrastructure for table tennis to really embrace it, to make it part of schools. It should be part of office cultures. Out in Santa Monica, they have something called Silicon Beach, which is like the tech part of, the Los Angeles area, I guess. A lot of tech startups there. They're crazy about it. I mean, every other office has a ping pong table there, and the guys really geek out about it, and all the coworkers are playing whenever they need a break, whenever they feel stressed after work, sometimes when they forget they're at work. And I think that's something that companies brag about because it makes their work environment feel less like a jail cell and more like a fun place to call your home. So I think that's part of the reason that the corporate league is succeeding and people are really excited about it. Yeah, they love it there. And in schools, there's no question to me that it should be in schools. I mean, first of all, it's extremely inexpensive compared to other sports. The cost of a table, you basically could roll it out in the middle of any cafeteria, any classroom. The space would not be tough to find for having table tennis there. The risk of injury is lower than other sports. I mean, yeah, people pull their hamstrings and, hurt their lower back when they're playing professionally. And sometimes people roll their ankles. But compared to other sports, it's just a very low risk of injury. The tiniest kid in school, the most popular mathlete in the school, boy or girl, could be the champion. You could be playing from a wheelchair, missing limbs, anything. You could be the quarterback of the football team, or you could be someone who has very little athletic history. And with hard work and practice, I mean, fortunately, it's a very equalizing sport. So I think that's something that should be encouraged in schools and really implemented. Not to mention, it doesn't encourage a lot of hazing. The mentality of table tennis players typically is not quite the not to say that there's anything wrong with testosterone, but I feel like most people who play table tennis are pretty respectful. So yeah, it doesn't quite have that same feel, and it's a lifelong sport. I mean, I got beaten by a 75-year-old who used to play for the Czech Republic at the Nationals in Vegas about 3 years ago, and I was playing well, but he was just better. And I continue to compete with people who are in their 70s, people who are, I got beaten last night by a 13-year-old who's about half my size, and he's just a better player than me. He just has been training like 25 hours a week for the past probably 2 years and is like the pride of Southern California. So, yeah, I think it should definitely be embraced everywhere. I think there should be tables in parks. They have that in New York, and it draws a huge crowd. There's a line to play, and it's so exciting. You see all sorts of different styles, people who are, some people might not have homes, and some people might be on their lunch break from a business meeting, but everybody's there playing. and it brings together cultures from around the world. I mean, being so international, it just really, like, yeah, it gives people from overseas a chance to play something that they haven't played in years because they didn't think there was a scene here. Germany has tables outdoors all over the place. China, everywhere you go outside, people are playing. I really think that it would be worth the expense for any city and any public place that has physical activity to have a ping pong table there and a place where you can check out some paddles or bring your own. But yeah, those are the places I'd like to see it grow the most, and how I'd like to see it embraced.
You're dancing. I gotta ask,
Yeah.
where in the blue hell did you pick up those moves, man? You got some skills.
Oh, that's definitely debatable, but I appreciate that. I think I saw a kid dance, a friend of mine in elementary school, and thought he looked so cool, and I was like, how can I learn to do that? So I just sort of went home and practiced in front of my mirror and entered a dance contest in 5th grade and won my first CD. So if that didn't just date myself. Yeah, I've been dancing, with the Fly Girls from In Living Color, growing up watching them, and then like Eric Nees on The Grind. I just always sort of thought it was cool to watch people who could move their body well, and yeah, so I tried to mimic and practice. And Michael Jackson. Watching Michael Jackson as a kid, there was nothing more, I don't know, impressive than his ability to perform and just, yeah, to move. So yeah, I guess anyone who inspired me or had a cool dance move, from poppers and lockers to girls on Living Color to pretty much anyone. And yeah, I just tried to do my best, and if I realized I couldn't do something, I just tried to make it my own and have fun with it. So in the end, I ended up with some sort of silly looking dance moves as a lanky, quirky guy that I guess look pretty funny sometimes to other people. So if it makes people happy, it can't be that bad.
You actually have a nonprofit organization, the Los Angeles Table Tennis Federation. Can you tell us about that and any upcoming events you're involved with them?
Sure. With LATTF, we're doing signups right now for the upcoming season. So March 15th is our deadline. And yeah, we're talking to schools and corporations and sort of release the hounds of signups. And yeah, our season's going to be starting mid-April and running through the end of June. So we're getting excited and answering questions for any interested players and people who've never played competitive table tennis or any organized ping pong, where they're going to be playing in uniform against other teams. So a lot of people are very excited to join this and be able to tell their friends what they're doing and meet other people who love it like they do. We have our awards banquet coming up real soon, so that's exciting. We're going to be presenting giant trophies and medals. They look like the Stanley Cup. I mean, they're pretty legit. I've got a few in my room from where my team is, played well, and a few medals over here from where my team has carried me through a season. And yeah, with LATTF, that's the big stuff we're doing. Just, yeah, schools, corporations, and anyone who's interested in playing. For anyone who's interested, they can go to lapingpong.com or LATTF, as in federation.org. And yeah, signups are there and all the information. Other events and entertainment, yeah, I guess at Spin I'm doing some parties for different offices. Might be flying back east to MC some events. Hoping to make it out to North Carolina real soon. And going up to Berkeley beginning of March to help out with a tournament. So yeah, those are some of the entertainment / table tennis related. And there are a few shows on the horizon, but they're not set in stone yet. So I'll keep people posted, through my Facebook account, or they go to adambobrow.com for what's coming up there. Yeah.
Nice. Got a lot going on. Now, before we let you go, man, I got to ask you, is there any piece of advice you could give aspiring table tennis players or entertainers, or really anybody that has a dream? Because a lot of people maybe 10, 15 years ago would have said, oh, Adam, you want to make a living, doing comedy, doing table tennis, especially being from the U.S., it's not going to happen. And obviously you've proven a lot of those doubters wrong.
Well, I'm no expert in anything, but what I've found what I've learned in the process of doing more and more entertainment in table tennis sort of for pay is the more you do anything, the better you get at it. You can talk all day, you can dream all day, but if you don't start doing it, you won't really learn to improve. So even if you're terrible, everybody starts as a beginner. That's what starting is. So yeah, just do what you love and do it more and more, and you'll learn as you go. You know, you get thrown out of the nest, you flap your wings, you learn to fly. So anything you put your mind to, I think there's a possibility for, and hard work is better than talent. And yeah, so go for what you want, be a yes man or a yes woman, and yeah, you only live once, so make it count, and no regrets, just do what you love.
Well said. Well, Adam, I thank you so much for his time, man. Folks, if you want to find out more information about Adam, you can visit adambobrow.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Adam Bobrow. Anywhere else, sir?
Yeah, I use Facebook regularly. Adam Bobrow, type it in. There's a picture of me with my foot above my head playing table tennis. I'm on Instagram, and IMDb is not something I actively update, but it gets updated. And yeah, thanks a bunch for having me, Fred.